If you're a language teacher or even a language student and you're looking to understand a little bit more about what Deepseek is and how it could help you in language teaching or even language studying, then this is the video for you. I'm going to focus on some ideas. I'm going to try to make them really practical, and I'm going to include some things that I've already used Deepseek for myself in my studies of Polish. And I'm going to start by showing you the very special feature in Deepseek that I haven't seen in other AI technologies, and that is the fact that it explains exactly how it's thinking. Really hope you like the video, and as always, if you do, please like it, please share it, please comment on it, and of course join me on my YouTube channel. Let's get started. I'll show you how to get an account in a minute, but I just want to show you this. And it's also a nice idea anyway. So what I did was I wanted to set up an activity where my students had to read 10 facts about London. And 5 of those facts were correct and 5 of them were incorrect. Then the idea was that they read the facts, decide which ones they think are true and which ones are false. And then afterwards, I'm actually going to give them a reading that they can do where they can find out the true answers and check whether they guessed correctly or incorrectly. So I wrote in the first part, which was to write 5 facts correctly and 5 incorrectly. And here is the thought processes of Deepseek. So it's saying, okay, the user is a teacher who wants to create a reading activity for B-level students. The goal is to have 10 facts about London, half true, half false. The student needs to identify which are which. Let me start by recalling some of the common facts about London that are suitable for B1 learners. Now, I love this because it really helps me to understand if, for example, the AI did produce an incorrect answer, why it might have done this, because it's going through the whole logic. And this is absolutely superb. So it goes through the logic, it therefore afterwards it produces the facts for me. And obviously this would be a great lesson. So the students would receive these facts. They would then work in pairs and decide which fact they thought was true and which fact they thought wasn't true. And then I would give them afterwards the reading text that actually has all the correct answers in it. So this is a really nice activity, and it was really well done by Deepseek. Now I'm going to show you some more ideas with Deepseek that I've been working with, but one thing, let's just quickly look at how you log in. Now currently you either need to have a Chinese telephone number or a Gmail account. If you have a Gmail account, it seems that you can log in to Deepseek. And so if you just come over to deepseek.com, click on Start Now. I'm already logged in, so it's already working for me. And you can log in using your Google account. So before I start showing you some ideas that I've already used that you could use in the class with your students, I'm just going to click on New Chat and just sort of show you how it works. Keep in mind that you can obviously upload documents to help you, and it will take up to 50 documents. And we've got a search facility here, which is also very interesting that I will focus on. But the one that we want to click on here is Deepthink. And make sure that you've got that selected. Now what I'm going to ask it for is to think of some interesting ways of teaching the past simple at level B1 for my students. So I'm going to write in the question and let's see what Deepthink comes up with. So I've asked it the question, can you think of some interesting ways of teaching the past simple in English to my students? They are around B1 level. I'd just be really interested to see what it comes up with. Now I've been doing similar sorts of things in Polish for myself and getting it to kind of produce some language content for me to study with. And let's just see. Now, of course, what it's doing first of all is going through that logic, and then afterwards it's going to actually provide me with, and I can see it's thinking of games and role plays and multimedia and personalization and how to possibly use technology. And I can see it's kind of thinking through all of these things before it even starts to provide me with an answer. Now I'm going to say I'm very impressed. I'm impressed actually with the creativity of some of the ideas and the way that it's laid out. It's actually suggested 10 ideas for me, and I think these are really nice. Some of them are very obvious, but a couple of them are pretty original and will work really well and will be the sort of thing that I might try and do in my class. So in this first idea that I'm going to show you, I'm going to get Deepthink to write 2 stories for me. And the stories are going to be about a road accident And the story is going to be very similar, but there'll be 5 differences in the 2 stories. So I got Deepthink to write the 2 stories for me. And now what I'm going to do is give 1 story to group A, 1 story to group B. They're going to read their stories, learn them, and then I'm going to pair them together. So each student tells their story, and then together they can work out what the 5 differences are. So let me show you what I asked Deepthink to do, and then show you exactly what it produced. And I'm going to show you afterwards a great idea, a great twist on this that can make it even more interesting. So I wrote the question here. I asked it to two stories about an accident that happened on the M25 in London, but I asked it to have 5 differences and that there would be a group A story and a group B story. I specified the differences that I wanted. I wanted the differences to be on the number of people in the vehicle, the colour of the vehicles involved, the weather conditions on the day, and how long it took for the ambulance to arrive. And it went through the logic and it said, okay, the user wants to create a lesson with 2 stories. So really good for you to read through that logic. And then afterwards it produced the 2 stories for me. And it also highlighted the 5 differences. So this would be a great activity. Student A would have this one, student B would have this. I would get them to read their stories, learn them. They could even practice in their groups, telling their stories, group A and group B, and then I would repair them, 1 student from A, 1 from B. They can tell their 2 stories and find the differences. So it's a speaking and reading activity, and of course it practices the past simple. Lovely idea. That would work in ChatGPT, but I love the fact that Deepseek gives me the logic. Now I'm going to show you now a great little trick that you could do with this activity. Now we could actually turn that game into a listening, with 1 group listening to the A story and 1 group listening to the B story, because you could take those texts and put them into a free app called Love Voice that will generate the audio file for you, and it will actually generate it in lots of different accents. So you could have it in an American accent or an English accent or an accent from Australia, etc. Now if you want to learn to use Love Voice, I'm going to put a link now on the screen so you can watch that video. It's very popular amongst language teachers, and it's completely free and it works in multiple languages. Now just a really quick reminder, if you do like what you see and you want more free videos, please come over to teachertrainingvideos.com, and there's loads more videos on using technology in language teaching. Don't forget as well, if you sign up to the newsletter, you will get a mini 14-part video course on key technologies that you can use in language teaching, and nearly everything that I focus on is free. Right, I'm going to move on now and just show you a couple more things that we could do with Deepseek. Now I'm just about to do a tour of talks in Italy with Oxford University Press, and we're going to be talking about multimodality in language teaching. And so I thought I would ask Deepseek to do a search for me and find me some interesting articles on the topic of multimodality in language teaching. Can you suggest any popular or well-researched articles, was the question. It went through the logic, which again, I have read this, and this is very interesting because it kind of searches through all sorts of things. If I come down here, wait, there's also the London Group's paper on multiliteracies, and then come down here even further and it says, I really like this little bit here. It says, I need to verify that these articles are accessible. For example, this is absolutely fabulous. It's even checking whether I can actually access these articles. And then it even does something else which is interesting, and then it starts to look at open papers, for example. So here, look at this. Absolutely superb. The logic is particularly interesting. Now I can't claim that I've actually read these articles yet, but I've very obviously going to be saving this search, and I'll show you how to save a search actually, and making use of this for preparation for my research. Now I can actually click on that chat here just on the right hand side and rename that, and I'm going to call that multiliteracies. Now one thing to notice is that occasionally it says the server is busy, please try again. That's happened to me a couple of times. I guess that's because of how popular the technology is, and you can always just click and delete any chats that aren't any use to you. I always use new chat every time I go to actually do a new chat, so to keep every subject completely clear. But what I have noticed is if it does tell you that it's busy, just come back in 30 seconds, a minute, and it seems to be fine. Now, another little thing that I did with it just was to do a test. Was I wanted to use it in another language, so I was very interested to see what it could do for me learning Polish. It produced for me 20 examples of the instrumental case in Polish at level B1, which is my level. It gave me the translation into Polish or into English of the sentences, and then it went on to explain the main grammar rules as well. I definitely suggest you take a look at Deepseek. I think it's got lots of potential. I will be adding this to my playlist of best apps I found in 2025 for language teachers, and if you want to make use of that playlist, I'll put it on the screen now and you can click on it and watch the videos of some of my best tools that I've found so far this year. Okay, really hope you liked the video, and if you do, please come over to teachertrainingvideos.com. There's hundreds more videos on the website. There's a really popular section on teaching and using AI. I specialize in making videos to help language teachers use technology. If you want to sign up to the newsletter, then that way you can keep up with all the latest videos, the free webinars that we run, the courses that we run, etc. And at the moment, if you sign up to the newsletter, there is a special 14-part free course that you'll be sent. You'll be sent a video about every 3 or 4 days that really just focuses on the most popular technologies on my YouTube channel that teachers have reacted to, and that really builds up into a really nice course and gives you a strong basis in using technology in language teaching. It's completely free, and literally everything that I show you is a free technology. If you'd like to have live training with me, then think about joining me on Patreon. On Patreon, for $6 a month, you get 3 free videos from me each month without any advertisements in them. But the important thing is those videos are connected to a monthly webinar that we have where we meet live. And we normally work with the technology that we focused on that month, or sometimes it's 2 technologies, and we do activities and really learn to use those technologies well, so that then you can try those out in class or online with your students. The other interesting thing about joining me on Patreon is that actually you get access to all of the backdated material. So there's over a year of videos and live training. This training is very practical with lots and lots of ideas about things that you can do in the class or online with your students teaching languages. So it's much more practical than the YouTube videos, and you get that as part of the $6 a month. Okay, I'm going to leave some more videos on the screen that I think you might find useful.